After pulling this microphone out of the dumpster, I am now ready to begin our journey upon entering the survival horror that is Isekai anime. What's on the list for today? Well, it's a show loved by millions. Nah, I'm just joshing you. It's a random thing probably no one has ever heard about. Kyo Kara Moah. That's the name of the anime, and it's very short, as it was clearly made before it was cool to stick a whole page worth of random garbage to fill out its title. Otherwise, the name of the series would probably go something like this. Me, the 27th in line to become the one and only Demon King, today onwards after I just got flushed into another strange fantasy world, where I am in fact the one and true Demon King, who will bring everyone together, because that's just the type of man I was always ready to become, because being the strongest Demon King is in fact a very tight job, as I prove not all demons are monsters, restoring the demon tribe's honor in the process. Just your average length of Isekai title name nowadays. So I might have gotten a little carried away with the essay I just wrote out for the title, but you get the point. Where, just newer Isekais just stop being stories where you watch to find out what's going to happen in the first episode. Instead, you sit there for 10 minutes having an actual brain aneurysm, wondering why you just read out loud. You can't comprehend a story taking longer to read the opening title than to just watch the first episode. No, I'm not joking. Isekais are getting longer and longer names just so they can explain exactly what happens in their plot in the first couple episodes, or even seasons if they make it that far. Already on to a good start, as the opening doesn't immediately ruin the tone of the series. You can either do what this show does and put it at the very start, or have the intro happen at a time that may actually make sense. What I mean is that the intro is put into a spot that makes sense, unlike other shows. A show that is 20 years old understood the assignment, but what can we expect from current Isekai slop? Of course, it's just the technology has advanced so much, they lost the ability to place the intro where it belongs, at the intro. But hey, why have an investment in a dark scene when you can just get an ultra happy cutaway that kills all the tension, am I right? Making shows is tough after all, and keeping the pacing from feeling weird is just hard, because the ability to shove intro wherever these psychopaths decide is much more convenient for them. We will now go back to the original show I was covering. Don't want to lose the plot after all. The main character is a loser called Yuri because his hot mom decided it so. We see him get flushed down a toilet to another world, and already in the first 5 minutes, I'm more invested in this random show than this other Isekai current slop. They really don't make them like they used to. This is just a guess, but maybe my standards for Isekai were always going to be broken from the start when I started watching ReZero and Mushoku Tensei first, but hey, that's just me. I'm a one episode type of chud. If you fail to hook me in the first episode, that's on you. I'm not gonna sit through 50 episodes before a watchable one pops up. Sorry. Not sorry. Let me break it down for you. Why this show rocks and is worth a watch, just based off the first episode, of course. No spoilers here. Promise not to follow this rule. Number 1. Magic or skills are very limited when compared to what most shows give to their characters. Yuri over here remains an incompetent moron who has to slowly work his way up to earning the respect of his kingdom, as he is the demon lord without really understanding what it means to be a demon lord. Groundbreaking stuff, am I right? Pacing is slower than most shows nowadays, and there's limited action in an episode we're going to talk about. It still manages to keep my attention due to the interesting premise of a random kid being flushed down a toilet into another world. Meaning, I'm going to give this story more of a chance due to this, that there is something to look forward to, unlike other Isekai slop for the main characters, an ultra badass that is overpowered within the first 5 minutes. I can never do any wrong. Having a loser that is actually a loser is a breath of fresh air, because it gives them at least something to grow towards, even if it's just really basic. It just works. The author of the story actually cares about writing dialogue that sounds semi-natural, as the characters sound like actual people. I thought isekai were supposed to have 20 bimbo constantly riding the mainless spying character, but it is mostly dudes. Dudes! What did I start watching? Quite a strange show indeed. Nothing like a sausage fest to get me up in the morning, and my morning wood. This show continues to stand out when compared to whatever this is, just by the fact I said so. And as we all know, my word is law, and I don't make the rules, but I am in fact the king. The king would never lie to you. No, I am an honest and true to my word. I did in fact eat out all of my Wait, I think I messed up the script somewheres. Can I get a redo? When the main character is brought over to the fantasy world, in the first episode he doesn't quite understand everything that is going on and is very naive about all those around him. When a little girl offers Yuri some water, his Chad bodyguards, who just abducted him a few hours ago, try to stop him from accepting gifts from a stranger, as they clearly live in a world where race and prejudice does exist to an extreme extent towards the demon tribe. The fact that this much thought was put into world building and interactions between the characters just shows how lacking most fantasy shows really are. I mean, in what other isekai can you see most of the characters acting rationally? Like, of course they would be suspicious of a commoner coming up to the new demon king to offer free goods. Only someone naive like the main character, who wasn't even originally from this world, would be stupid enough to fall for such things, of course. Not saying the water was tampered, but it's a big deal if the author even thought about the possibility of this happening, which does put a smile on my face. The world building isn't just about building a world and calling it a day. It's about how people interact with the world and what the common norms would be between the two people when they meet. Yuri, being part of the demon tribe, is just an outsider in both worlds when compared to the rest of the new world he's in, so accepting things from a stranger might be a bad idea if he wasn't just so stupid. Just because the main cast is all passable in terms of IQ doesn't mean the actual main character is all there mentally or physically. I mean, he's still a kid after all, and unlike all those other isekais, he's not an all-seeing badass like most NPCs in these types of shows. By having the main character start off very weak, it actually gives breathing room to all the other characters in the series, as it lets them have a very small moment in the spotlight, as they aren't instantly overshadowed by everything the main character does. As by the time he finally gets to be overpowered, as at least the characters had a couple episodes, as they had also had a couple flashing moments before being forgotten forever. Other shows that do this well include Re:Zero, obviously. Mushoku Tensei in its earlier parts really has this built to a perfected formula. Inuyasha, now and then, here and there. And finally, Rising of the Shield Hero in its first season mostly, as all of those come to mind when bringing up the anime that let the side cast actually do stuff besides the main character. For most shows, this is common, but for isekais, it's like asking for water in the middle of a desert. The chances are you won't find it, but when you do, it's probably been so long since you watched something similarly reasonable, you instantly think the show is peak because it does the bare minimal. Why am I bringing this up when I think the show is peak? Because it does the bare minimum. If we watched the show 20 years ago, it probably wouldn't be that impressive, but if you look at it compared to the slop nowadays, you'd think this thing is an actual masterpiece. Why am I bringing this up and being such an ass about it? Well, I want to talk about another show for a couple minutes. It's called I Got a Cheat Skill in Another World that became unrivaled in the real world too. You see, the show has a 4.6 rating on Crunchyroll. Here we go with the stupid name of the show, ruining all the excitement I might have had before even clicking play on the first episode. You know, a really fast way to kill hype for something is to spoil what would happen before it even starts, because unless the show gets me really invested, I'm not going to give a shit about the main character becoming the strongest, as the title puts all of its stakes away, as it tells you exactly what's going to happen in the plot. The plot, by the way, is compelling for the first 2 minutes until the opening starts, and it just instantly dies because the intro starts. You know, it really doesn't help when the intro just kicks in the middle of a really dramatic scene. This brings me to my last point about the rating. Why is it the rating so high? 4.6 be a reasonable rating. There are 0 reasons why the show should be as high as it is. Am I missing something? Is everyone giving the show a 5-star unironically? Or did I roll down the stairs just a few too many times before turning the show on? You know what? I probably am the crazy one. I mean, a high rating must mean the show is peak. Since people don't watch anything that isn't brand new, it's probably to be expected since most tourists casual enjoyers just watch whatever is new and give everything they lobotomize their brains for 12 to 13 episodes a 5-star sloppy rating, like the good little droids they are. And no, those 1-star reviews were not given by me, as I only finished 1 episode and a half before making this video to complain. Anyways, that's all for today. Watch another video or go touch grass. I can almost guarantee you are going to do the former. Now are you? Also subscribe, as I want the dough for my crippling spending debt.